The Galactic Trade Summit was designed to be predictable, controlled, boring. Ambassador Velter of the Zephyrian hegemony preferred it that way. For 3,000 years, his people had dominated galactic commerce, diplomacy, and political leverage. Summits like this were little more than ceremonial exercises. Weaker species presented requests, the hegemony granted limited favors, and the balance of power remained unchanged. The humans were next on the agenda. Velter observed them from his elevated platform with mild curiosity and even less respect. They were physically unimpressive, soft-skinned, unarmored, no visible claws or defensive adaptations. Their delegation consisted of a handful of individuals dressed in plain formal attire. No intimidation displays. No honor guards. No obvious threat. Their spokesperson, Dr. Lisa Rodriguez, spoke calmly about trade corridors, shared infrastructure investments, and mutual economic growth. Her tone was measured, professional, almost academic. To Velter, it sounded like weakness. The hegemony had seen this pattern countless times before. A young species eager to be accepted, unaware of the subtle hierarchies already in place. They would receive limited access, pay tariffs, and learn their role. Then the lights flickered. At first, Velter assumed it was a minor power fluctuation, annoying, but not uncommon in multi-species stations. Then the air shifted. A ripple of distortion passed through the chamber. And assassins appeared. Secti. Elite killers, phasing into visibility mid-stride, blades already in motion. Their timing was flawless, their coordination terrifying. They struck simultaneously across the hall, targeting key figures meant to destabilize the summit and ignite interstellar chaos. Panic erupted instantly. Delegates fled. Some dove for cover. Others froze, paralyzed by fear. Security systems lagged, too slow, as always. Velter had barely begun to move when he saw it. One Secti assassin materialized directly behind the human delegation. His monomolecular blade arced toward Dr. Rodriguez's exposed neck, fast enough to decapitate her before pain signals could even register. There was no scream. No warning. Dr. Rodriguez moved. Not like a startled civilian. Not like a trained guard reacting late. She turned as if she had known the strike was coming. Her hand snapped upward. And she caught the blade. The sound was almost gentle, a sharp metallic whisper as human fingers closed around a weapon capable of slicing through starship hull plating. The assassin froze. So did everyone else. The Secti's 4 eyes widened in disbelief. No species reacted that fast. No nervous system processed threat and response in that time window. The blade should have already been embedded in bone. Instead, Dr. Rodriguez held it inches from her throat. She didn't hesitate. With a smooth, economical motion, she yanked the weapon free, rotated her wrist, and drove the blade into the assassin's primary cardiac cluster. The Secti collapsed without a sound. The entire exchange lasted less than 2 seconds. Around the chamber, the impossible continued. A human man vaulted over a conference table, drawing a concealed sidearm and dropping 2 attackers with precision shots before they completed their strikes. Another human rolled across the floor, detonating a disguised plasma charge that cleared an entire flank. These were not bodyguards. These were diplomats. When the last assassin fell, the room was silent except for distant alarms and the hiss of damaged energy fields. Dr. Rodriguez stood calmly over the fallen Secti, wiping the blade clean with a cloth from her briefcase. Security response time, she said, checking her wrist display, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That's unacceptable for a facility of this classification. Her colleague nodded. We'll file a recommendation. Velter stared. Translator systems were functioning perfectly, but comprehension lagged behind reality. How, he finally managed. Your reflexes, that speed. Dr. Rodriguez looked genuinely puzzled by the question. You mean catching the knife, she asked. That wasn't particularly difficult. She explained it clinically: average human reaction time, predictive movement analysis, combat conditioning. Basic concepts. Foundational training. Basic? Velter echoed. All human citizens undergo mandatory military service, another human replied casually. Minimum 2 years. Longer for specialists. The realization spread through the chamber like a slow-moving shockwave. Scientists. Economists. Botanists. Trade envoys. All soldiers first. Velter felt something unfamiliar coil in his core, not fear exactly, but recalibration. The humans hadn't arrived defenseless. They had arrived restrained. As emergency teams secured the chamber, the alien delegates remained where they were, watching the humans with a new, uneasy attention. Your entire species trains for combat, Velter said slowly. Dr. Rodriguez nodded. Of course. Her tone wasn't proud. It wasn't defensive. It was simply factual. Earth has always been dangerous. Predators, disasters, hostile environments. Survival required adaptation. We learned to make fast decisions under pressure. She gestured subtly toward her colleagues. Some of us studied biology while serving in expeditionary forces. Others ran trade routes after years in combat engineering. It's efficient. Efficient. The word echoed uncomfortably in Velter's thoughts. The Secti are considered the finest assassins in the galaxy, he said. Dr. Rodriguez glanced at the corpse at her feet. They're adequate, she replied. But their timing was off, and they telegraphed their intent. She sat back down and reopened her data pad. Now, she continued, about those trade routes through Sector 7. The meeting resumed. But nothing was the same. Velter finally understood the mistake the galaxy had been making. Humans weren't pretending to be peaceful. They had chosen peace. And that choice was backed by a capability most species couldn't imagine. As negotiations concluded, Ambassador Velter issued new directives to his aides. The tone was careful. Respectful. The hegemony would revise its stance on human trade expansion. Dr. Rodriguez smiled politely. Later, as maintenance drones cleaned the chamber, Velter watched the humans depart, unhurried, composed, already discussing logistics and follow-up meetings. They did not boast. They did not threaten. They did not need to. The galaxy had just witnessed the truth by accident. Humans were not fragile newcomers. They were apex predators who had learned to wear suits, negotiate contracts, and speak softly. And as Velter reviewed the footage one last time, the moment a bare human hand caught a weapon meant to kill, he understood the danger too late. The most dangerous species in the galaxy wasn't the one that attacked first. It was the one that could choose not to. And still win.